Imagine running a small business where the financial side feels as straightforward as your morning coffee routine, where every transaction, invoice, and receipt is not a dreaded chore, but a seamless part of your daily operations. It's just what you do. Bookkeeping may not be the most glamorous part of being an entrepreneur, but mastering the timing and organization of your financial tasks can be the difference between stress and success. With this checklist, we're going to show you how to tackle specific bookkeeping tasks for your small business and transform your chaos into clarity. Discover how knowing the right time for each task can save you time, money, and headaches, and keep your business on the right financial track. To start with is your weekly task. You need to have this set up in a way and pick a day every week that you're doing your bookkeeping. Pick a day and stick with it. Set an appointment in your calendar, block it off so clients can't book it. Give yourself an hour is all you should need. And as you get doing this more often, you shouldn't even need the full hour. But block off the time and make it a priority. If you do this every week, it gets easier and it gets faster, and you're not feeling like you're catching up all the time. And it just makes everything so much smoother. So every week, you need to be checking your bank balances. You should be doing this with some sort of bookkeeping software. As I've said before, I am a QuickBooks girl. I think they are just the gold standard. Do they have their issues and struggles and frustrations? Absolutely. Do they drive me crazy sometimes? Yes. But I still feel like it's the best thing out there. There are some free options. I don't think they're as robust and can do everything you need to do. There are some that work if you have a very simple and really basic, if you're just a DBA, things like that. But if you're doing a lot of depreciation and things like that, I really just recommend QuickBooks. And it's something you can do yourself. You don't have to pay a bookkeeper to do this for you. This is something you can do yourself. There's some free training that QuickBooks offers. I'm a resource for you. I can help you through this step. You can reach out to me if you're in it and you're like, I don't know what to do. Reach out. I'm happy to help you through that. But every week, you need to be checking your bank balances. You need to mark payments on your invoices, either in QuickBooks or if you're invoicing in your CRM, do it in there. Pay any bills that are due. If you're managing your bills in QuickBooks in the software, mark them as paid. You need to make sure you're saving your receipts. And if they're all digital receipts that you're getting, that's fine. You don't have to print them. Just create a folder in your inbox that just says receipts 2025, receipts 2026. And as you get receipts, just put them in that folder and they just stay there forever. And in 7 years, you can just delete that whole folder because you need to keep stuff for 7 years for auditing purposes. But you don't have to print them out. Any paper receipts you have, you can scan them in and save them digitally, or just have a file box and keep your receipts that way. You need to send out any invoices that are due. The balances that you're bringing in and everything that's coming in from your bank, you need to categorize all those transactions from the bank feed. And any money that you've gotten paid, you need to be moving all of that into your different savings accounts for taxes and profit or other savings goals. However you're doing that, you need to have that money set aside in different accounts so that it's easy to keep track. All right, so those are things you need to be doing every single week. Set aside, make this a priority. It will save you so much headache in the end. Then we move on to monthly. Monthly, you need to follow up on any of your unpaid invoices that nobody's paid you on that are overdue. Hopefully, you've got automatic reminders going out, but sometimes you need to send a text or something like that to be like, hey, are you getting these emails? What's going on? Pay all your contractors, depending how you have that set up, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever that arrangement is. Same thing with paying yourself or running payroll. Um, However those things are getting paid, you need to be paying yourself though. If you're doing that monthly, great. If you're doing that out of every invoice and taking out a percentage out of there, that's fine too. But minimum, you need to be doing it every month. You need to be paying yourself, giving yourself an income. You need to reconcile your bank balances. So this is checking what the bank says happened in the account versus what you have in the software. And that's where you're going to find any mistakes, either that you made or the bank made. And make sure everything is lining up and you know how much money you have. You need to pull some statement reports out of your bookkeeping software, balance sheets, profit and loss, other things you need to look at it. Then you need to actually look at them and you need to know what they say. If you look at it and you're like, this isn't even English, find somebody to help you and explain what it all means. So you know what you're actually profiting, what you're making, where your expenses, like where's all your money going. you need to understand what those reports are. You don't want to just rely on your bookkeeper or your accountant to know those things. Like you need to have a general idea. I don't understand depreciation completely. I keep track of it and I see the reports that my accountant does. So like I can see it, but I don't fully understand it. But I do know I can pull these reports and I can go, okay, I'm spending this much in expenses every month. I need to cut back. And it makes it easy to see where you need to cut back. You're like, hey, I'm not making as much like profit as I thought I should be. That's the perfect time to be like, hey, where's all my money going? You can see that in those reports and you'd be like, oh, I ate out way too much this month. Time to cut back on that, whatever it may be. But every month, I do it the same day that I do my bookkeeping, the same day. If you're keeping up and you're doing all these things, this shouldn't take you that much longer. Again, the first time you do it, it's going to take longer. Probably going to run into some glitches, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Give yourself an extra half hour maybe to get the reconciliation done and things like that and pulling those reports. And like I said, reach out to somebody to help you understand what you're looking at. Then we have your quarterly stuff. You need to be making tax payments, and they're due April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and then January 15th for the previous fourth quarter. You need to be making those payments to the state and your federal taxes. It's just going to save you so much in the long run. You're going to save money on interest. This is something that your accountant should be helping you come up with how much you're paying. These are an estimate based on your previous income. So your accountant should be giving you a printout that says you should pay this much every quarter. And then usually August, September, sometime before this third quarter payment is due, I will usually meet with my accountant and be like, hey, here's where my money is actually landed this year. That way, if it's really off, either up or down from the year before, we can make adjustments for those last two payments. My husband is in construction and his income fluctuates drastically. And so if I'm like, hey, yeah, this is where we are so far, but I can see the next 3 or 4 months, his income is going to drop or it's going to go up really high. Like he's going to make some really good money. You need to pay a little bit more into these estimated payments. That way, when we come into our yearly taxes being due, we're not having to write these huge giant checks. It's broken out over 4 quarters. It makes it so much easier. You need to review any goals that you set for the previous quarter, your financial goals and your actual goals in your goal planning. If you need to know that, check out my other videos. We go through goal planning in your quarterly, your uh, rewards, things like that. You need to review your goals coming up and set those goals for the next quarter. Make sure everything's still on track and nothing's blown up. Keep following up on your unpaid invoices. If you've got them, decide if you need to just write them off or if you're sending collections or whatever your process is for things that are, 90 days out. And then have a profit party. Take a portion of your profits and splurge. This doesn't mean all your profits, and it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. All right. You've cut back on eating out because you saw you're spending too much. So treat yourself out to a nice lunch with your girlfriend. Something like that. That's your splurge. That's your profit party. Reward yourself for making some money and actually being successful in your business. And then yearly, and these happen at different times throughout the year, not necessarily like the beginning of the year or the end of the year, but they are usually happen once a year. So usually sometime in January, your accountant is going to ask for reports if they are not already, if they don't have access to your software. So if you're in QuickBooks, you should be able to get them access so they can get in there and pull any reports that they need to. Another reason why QuickBooks is so helpful because they can just get in and do it. My accountant takes care of the depreciation. I don't have to touch it. Um, if I want them to show me how to do certain things, but they can go in and make adjustments and fix things really easily. Review all of those reports that you were pulling monthly. Look at those like for a yearly basis. Look at the profit and loss, the balance, all of that, and compare against your goals that you had. So you're going to pull that at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, once a year, you want to set your new year goals. So usually end of November, beginning December is when I do my goal planning for the next year. And that includes financial goals. So at some point at the end of the year, it's sometime in the fourth quarter, you need to be setting your goals for the next year. And at some point in the year, usually when you're setting the goals, reassess your salary, what you're taking as your salary, look at where your profit is, make sure you're setting aside enough for your tax savings, making sure you have enough for expenses, and make adjustments. You should be setting specific percentages aside for all four of these things every month. Every time you get paid, you should have four different categories and four different percentages that account for your salary, your profit, your tax savings, and your expenses. And based on how the year went, if you had to pay more in taxes, you didn't have enough set aside, whatever it is, adjust those things and make a plan on how you're going to move forward. So if you're ready to take control of your business finances, check out this link to grab your free checklist and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more insights that will empower you to keep your business thriving.